Hey, good evening, everyone. Paul McMann here with Forex Smart Trade. So glad you could be with us this Monday evening, March 28th, 2022. Here at Forex Smart Trade, our mission is to help make you the best version of yourself. And we teach you, and we do that by teaching you to successfully currency trade with our super accurate proprietary trading tools. And we supplement that with what we consider to be the best in the business, one-on-one personalized training. And generally in this session, I do a live trade where I use one of our dozen different signals to analyze the charts and find something that will make us some money. This evening, however, we have a guest speaker, trader coach, a coach who is an excellent trader, and he is going to go through, do a live trade for you with his favorite trade strategy. Before we do that, real quick, we got to listen to this guy. So let's get that done with. And we'll be good to go.
Due to federal and state regulations, we are providing the following disclosure. Please stay tuned, as this will take less than a minute. Foreign exchange, futures, and cryptocurrency trading are highly risky, and you can lose all the money you invest should you decide to engage in live trading. We are not responsible for your investment, trading, or tax decisions. We are not licensed financial advisors, traders, accountants, stockbrokers, or attorneys. We are not licensed commodities brokers and do not engage in or facilitate commodities transactions. We are not an introducing broker, and we make no recommendation as to where you should invest or what broker you should trade with. As you apply what you learn, we recommend you seek advice from licensed professionals. Any trade results that we show should not be considered typical of our students. We do not and cannot track the results or performance of our students' private trading accounts. We do not know what a typical or average student earns or loses trading. This is not a get-rich-quick program, guaranteed system, or business opportunity. We sell training and trading tools. We make no promises our training or tools will generate future income for students, and you may not make your investment back, including your investment in this training. Any redistribution or recording of this material is strictly prohibited without advance written permission.
All right. One of the reasons we do these live trades, and this is our schedule of live trades. When you are a light, you get access to the schedule up in the yellow. So we've got a live trade tonight, and then again tomorrow morning at 6:30, and then that is followed by intro to coaching session at 9:30 a.m. But when you become a member, you get access to many more live trades. Reason we do the live trades are twofold. One, to give you additional instruction where you get to see an expert trader do their analysis and learn from them. And then also, if you're still evaluating the program, to see how accurate we are and what might be possible for you. So we've got the trades in the morning at 10 a.m., trades in the evening at 10 p.m. Eastern. Plus, we have an additional paid trade at 8 p.m. with the on it. So lots of opportunities for you to be earning while you learn, because all of the traders who do this are excellent. And we are going to have one of them right now. So let me get him tuned in where he's taking control of the presentation now.
Can you hear me okay, Paul?
I can hear you, and I've just given you control. Did you see that? I made you the presenter.
I didn't see it. Let me take a look here.
Here, I'm going to make you. Oh, here we go. Here it is again. How about that?
You are now the new presenter. Very good. Thank you.
And if you could then share your screen with us, and we will be all set to go. And
you might have to give me permission for that, though. I still got to edge through the share screen part.
All right. Hold on a second. Sorry for the technical details here. Let's see.
Oh, wait. Oh, no. Hang on. It's telling me. Do you want me to answer the questions in the email first, or
No, I'm going to interview you once you get your screen up.
Oh, okay, very good. Let's see. Everybody see that?
Yeah, perfect. Excellent.
Okay, very good, very good, very good.
All right, gang. So Scott Hodges is one of our coaches, and just so we can get to know him a little bit better, I like to ask a couple questions. And Scott, I'd like to get to some important stuff first. And are you a dog person or a cat person?
Started off all my life as a cat person until I got my dog 4 years ago, and now I'm a total dog person.
All right, I'm a dog person too. We can define people by how they relate to how we are. What's your favorite movie, Scott?
Oh, that is a loaded question because I'm a humorous type of guy, so I love and just dumb humor. Favorite movie drama wise probably is and now the movie stuff. I really love like a lot of Jim Carrey stuff, Liar Liar, stuff like that. That was a pretty funny one to me. Ace Ventura type stuff.
All right.
As A Few Good Men. Drama wise, A Few Good Men to me is by far my favorite movie.
All right, very good. Thanks for sharing. What's your favorite swear word? No. I'm just kidding. I am just kidding.
I got a good one for you. Whenever I take a wrong trade or it's going against me a little bit, I might say, son of a pip.
I like that. Son of a pip. That question comes from, there used to be a show, I forget the guy's name, who used to interview actors Workshop, I think it was. There's a guy with a beard.
Oh, yeah.
And he used to get all these famous actors, and he would ask them like weird questions, and one of them was like, what was one of their favorite swear words? So that's where that came from. But we've got a PG audience, so we can't do that. And lastly, what's your favorite pizza?
Sausage and mushroom.
Sausage and mushroom. So combination of meat and veggie. Nice.
There you go. Yep.
How long have you been trading, Scott?
2.5 years.
All right. Do you have a favorite trade signal or setup?
Yeah, my screen that I'm sharing right now is actually my setup that I've really clung to this one for about probably the last 5 or 6 months. Made little improvements to it here and there and deductions as well. Used to have the blues on these as well on my 10-minute and my 5-minute charts, but I realized that they kind of more just help me over here on the 1 minute to make a quick decision as far as buy or sell. But this is basically it. It's kind of a stripped down version of what became the 2x4. And I got rid of the 30-minute and the 15. And I usually I'm a scalper, so I usually only go for about anywhere from 2 to 4 pips per trade. And so I figured I can use the 10 and the 5-minute to tell me all I need to know to get 2 or 4 pips out of the trade. The 30-minute sometimes can take a little bit longer to give me information because it's obviously a 30-minute chart. So I want the information like right away. And so I've just gone down to these smaller charts and they've worked well for me. I sat down this morning and within the first minute saw a trade set up. I took the trade and it closed in about a minute. Took 2 pips and it backed up on me, and I knew it was going to keep dropping down, but it backed up a little bit really quick. And I grabbed another sell and it went down in the same price range and dropped again, and I got another 2 pips out of it. So in the same range, I got 4 pips.
Nice.
So worked very well this morning for me. And that was one of the other questions I think you're going to ask me is what time do I like to trade?
Yep.
My favorite time to trade is and I'm in the mountain range, so I'm in Utah, and I like to trade from 7 to 8 every morning, which is your 9 to 10. So I like to trade 7 to 8. However, when I back test, I always back test an hour before and an hour after. That way, if I'm early or late, or I have something that throws that schedule off, I know I'm covered as far as knowing what the indicators are going to do during that time frame. So I will always back test 6 to 9, but I trade live 7 to 8.
Are you back testing before you actually trade live?
On a normal basis, I'm always back testing. I'm always doing stuff. And whether that's going into the replay mode right here, whether that's going into replay mode, or whether it's, I've literally been known to just sit here and either take simulator trades right here and just jump in here in one of these 4 pair. Typically, I love the Euro US. Smooth, nice. I'm very intimate with it. I know the Euro US. I know how it works. I've been trading it forever, so I know it very, very well. I also trade the US Canadian, and I've started to dabble a bit, actually, believe it or not, in gold and NASDAQ, just a little bit. But I do this, and then there's other times where I literally just will sit here and I'll get rid of the trade simulator altogether, and I will, I like my candles hollow because I like to see the lines more than I do the candles. But I will literally just sit here and watch the patterns of the market and see what they're doing and the indicators. And I will literally just sit here and not even touch my mouse. I'll have my hands off my mouse and just kind of guesstimate, and say, okay, well, what's it doing right now? Okay, I bet this is going to go down, and this is going to do this, and this is going to do this. And then I sit there and wait for it, pretend like I took a trade, and then I watch and see what happens. And sure enough, I'm, most of the time I'm right, and that's just knowing your trade and knowing it well. Just for information's sake, what I really want to drive home to a lot of students and new people and even people that have been around a while, I cannot tell you how invaluable back testing is. And this is the honest truth. Probably my first, probably 12 to 13 months of my trading, I may have back tested a total of about 400 times is all, which is nothing. And my thought process is, I'm going to back test this a little bit, and I'm just going to take it into demo mode and try it there. I'll back test in demo, and I'll use the demo screen to back test. But what people don't realize is it really doesn't actually teach you a whole lot and help you get intimate with your indicators and knowledgeable with your indicators, because you get emotional. If you lose a trade, instead of saying, oh, what did I learn from that? You're more like, oh, why did I lose that? I thought that was my setup. And you start getting emotional, and it doesn't help. That's not true backtesting. Backtesting is when you put your rules to the test, you go in, you backtest, win or lose, because you're trying to prove your strategy. You're not trying to skew the numbers. Don't skew the numbers, because they're not going to get skewed when you go live. So if you lose one in backtesting, you took a loss. So use that as your education and getting better. In my last, since then, so I would say since January 1st, about the beginning of January of last year, since then till now, I've backtested probably anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 trades. And I noticed that my trading really took off. My knowledge of the indicators took off. Learning the patterns of the market and knowing what a lot of their ins and outs and nuances are. That's where I learned a lot of my stuff that I know about the indicators and make it much nicer to trade. I'm so happy now with my trading, whereas a year and a half ago, I was very, very unhappy. So it's come a long way, but back testing.
What's one of the most frequent mistakes that you see a new trader make? I guess maybe they don't back test enough.
Probably not back testing enough, but also trying to, if your trade plan doesn't work while you're live trading, either live demo or live, is probably taking a trade and you lose it. And so you adjust your trade plan on the fly or get emotional. You get emotional, so then you adjust it and say, I lost that because the thick orange did this. I'm going to change that right now, and I'm going to take it only if the thick orange does this. Well, that's the wrong time to change your plan, is when you're live trading. You back test that. Back test it, look for it, and do that. And then you will get to the point, like I remember when I first started in my first year and a half, having to, like, if I were to look at these charts now, and I would literally look at each one individually. Okay, let's look at my 1 minute. My thin orange is doing this, my thick orange is doing this, the pressure is doing this. 5 minute, thin orange is doing this, majors and minors are doing this. And by the time my trade setup was ready to go, I'm past the trade. I'm 30 seconds down the road. And I brought that all the way to the point now where I backed. Another thing that teaches you about back testing is you can start to back test faster and faster and faster and get used to looking at the indicators. to where now I literally can look at the whole entire screen in about 3 seconds and know if I have a trade or not.
All right, good.
That's where serious back testing comes into play, and then you'll get here. You'll get there.
And what do you consider the key to becoming a good, successful trader?
Being patient. Don't chase the trades. Let your trades come to you. Let your rule, hold tight to your rules, hold straight fast to your setup, your strategy, and let the trade come to you. Don't think you saw something or guess at it, or, oh, I've seen this a million times, it's going to do this, and you jump in. And let's say that one time it doesn't. When you take guessing trades, it's a 50-50 shot. I would much rather all day long take my 80% win rate or my 85%, whatever it is at the time, depending on what the market's doing per day, per week, whatever. I would much rather take the higher percentage trade than my guessing 50% trade or less. So patience.
Excellent. Let's do some trading. You want to see if we can?
Sure. I'm gonna have to find something here. You reminded me that we're gonna try and take a live trade, but this is a very, very small ATR right now. We're only at 6 on the 1 minute for the euro, but we can search around. Does anybody? My trade plan can kind of go across a number of these. I think that is the Aussie awake right about now.
Yeah, the Aussie is just getting started.
Let's try the US now. That one's harder to read. A little bit better. I don't think, let's see. Do you want to take these in the simulator, or actually just, you want me to do the trade ratio tool? How do you want me to take these?
However you normally do, maybe in the trade simulator, and just articulate the trade so that if somebody wants to copy it, they can copy it.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, the euro. Then we got the pound in there. The Aussie US is in there. New Zealand US. I straight up honest with you, I'm not a fan of the New Zealand. It's very, very volatile and kind of jumpy. But what we can do instead of that, I can actually just still use the trade ratio tool where we just put it on the screen and see if it wins. Let's see what so this I'm looking for. So what I'm looking for, let me tell you what I'm looking for in my trade plan. Now, with this comes some teaching. So what I go by is, first and foremost, I always look to see what the candles are doing and what the indicators are telling me the candles are doing. Are we trying to get back to pressure? Something to remember is that price always goes back to pressure. Your price will always go back to pressure no matter what chart you're on. You see this right here? It goes up, and then it comes down back to pressure. Then it goes up, tries to come back to pressure, a little bit too much pressure going on up, so it pushes it back up. I watch my thin orange first, I watch my thick orange second, and then I go to my pressure, and then my blues. Minors and majors are last for me because they're the most reactive to the price. So you notice they bounce up and down quite quickly when the price moves up and down. So they can kind of be swayed very easily to me. So as far as I go, I watch my minors and majors kind of last, but I will watch the thin orange, and I'll watch the thick orange pressure to make sure. Now we have up pressure right now. So even though our thin orange is down, thick orange is down, my thin orange is up on my 5 minute, which is still a buy, and it's still buying right now. But the thick orange is down, but that's just a level finder usually. So it tends to turn, even this can go up. See, this didn't turn over since way back here, and it's still going up against it. It's got to reset itself. That's the thing about the thick orange. It always has to reset itself because it maxes out at 10 or 0. So it has to reset itself. So I'm looking for, well, I should have got in right there. Let's say we did. I would have got in right here, right at the post. And let's see. Let's see what the ATR does. Let's go up to the ATR and see what we get. So right there, oh, we're about ready to hit it already. We would have been, I was actually thinking, I started talking, but I was actually thinking that was a good buy right there. Look at that. There's a 1-to-1 so far. 6.4 pips.
Tell people what the ATR is.
ATR it's the combine of the last including the candle you're on. It's the last 5 candles. That's why the 5 is right there. The ATR is the average true range, And so what that does is gives us an average of what the last 5 candles have done and tells us what the average of that is. So right now, if I read I don't trade the US yen, to be dead honest with that often. So right to me, is this a 3.8? I know what it is on the euro. I mean, it's pretty much the same giveaway, but I think that's a 3.8 tip.
Yep.
Okay, very good. I want to make sure. Because I don't read the US yen very often. So what I do is I just put the trade ratio tool on. I use the ATR. At the time, the ATR was 32. So I start with a 2-to-1. So I have my stop loss way out here at 64. I have my take profit at 32. That's a 2-to-1. And then I usually set my trades up for a 1-to-1 though, with my take profit at a 1-to-1. So I would match this. If I was going into a real trade with this, I would put my stop loss at 64 and my take profit at 64. And then I would just monitor the situation, monitor the trade to make sure that it's going to go up and make it. When it finally makes it to the 2-to-1, I usually will bring my stop loss in about halfway and wait for it to go up and meet the 1-to-1, or I may just move it up. Or if I feel that it's getting ready and getting exhausted and I don't think I'm going to get a lot more out of it, I will usually reach over and click out of the trade and take my profits and run, as long as they're over a 2-to-1. So
how many trades do you make a day? You trade 1 hour, you said, right?
That can depend. This morning I took 2 trades. I was in a hurry to get out the door. I had to go into the office today and talk with one of the other coaches. And so I didn't have a lot of time to trade before I left. And so first of all, I didn't trade live because I didn't want to trade under pressure. You never want to trade emotionally. You never want to trade when you're sick. I don't have a problem with drinking, but if you drink, you don't want to trade while you're drinking. You don't want to trade if you're under any kind of stress at all, meaning like this morning, I had to get out the door. I only had 15 minutes to sit down and look for a trade. And I did it. I sat down, but I only did it in demo. I took my trades in demo this morning just to keep myself on top of things and to take trades and practice and make sure that I'm still good to go on a Monday morning. And it worked. I won my 2 trades in about 5 minutes. So I was quite happy with that. And so that's how my setup usually is. Ask me again. I think I veered off a little bit, but I want to.
So on a normal day, like in 1 hour, how many pips are you gonna, getting?
I go actually by number of trade. Now, first of all, I do a static 4-pip stop loss and a 4-pip take profit. But if I typically will get, especially with the euro acting the way it is these days, it's very short. I will usually only get my 2-to-1, so I'll take 2 pips at a time. And I will take no more than at the most 4 trades in an account. And then I have other demo accounts as well that I practice with and trade with. So what I'll do is, instead of over trading, which can lead you down a bad path of emotional and over trading and and so forth, I will usually take anywhere from 3 to 4 trades in an account. And then I will actually go over to another account and pretend like I just sat down and I'm starting over again. And therefore, it kind of resets your brain and says, okay, now I'm still trading the same way. I'm still going to take these trades. I'm going to treat this like I just sat down and I'm just starting off the morning, and I want to take these trades. Because if you keep trading in the same account, I will fully admit, one time, a long time ago, but I was trading the heck from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock. I took 35 trades. And when I got done, I went back and counted, and it was a loss. I had lost for the day. And I had gone in and I counted up the trades, and I sat there and I just about wanted to punch myself in the throat. I was like, what am I doing? I traded for an hour, took 35 trades. That is a trade about every less than 2 minutes. And that is absolutely ridiculous. And I called myself out on it right then and there. I said, I will never do that again. And I never have. And so I set myself a limit that I would take the very most 4 trades. And depending on how the market's moving, if it's moving really well, if it's climbing like this did right here on the 10-minute, oh yeah, I'm still trading. I'm going to take 4 trades max. And then I may jump over to another dummy demo account. And then I might take a few more trades just to test myself and see how I'm doing, if I'm reading correctly and if I'm executing properly. Watching for your setup, following your rules, and execution is key. Don't hesitate. If you see your trade setup, get in there. Don't hesitate. If you hesitate, don't take the trade. Don't get in late. Don't get in late to a trade, because now that from when you saw the trade set up to now the time you're entering the trade, you could have already lost a pip or 15 points, a pip and a half. And now there goes what your take profit is going to be right out the window. Because if you're still trying to go for the same amount of take profit, it may not be there. The market may not be willing to give you that much. And so therefore you have to adjust for it. And if you do take a trade, adjust for it. Say I take 2 pips, but I missed the trade that's gone up already 8 points. Well, I may just say, okay, I'm only going to get 12 points out of this and call it good, because I'm not going to try and still pull 2 pips out of it, because it may not give it to you. So you got to be very disciplined. Be very disciplined with your rules and following your trade plan, and you'll succeed.
So when you're trading off of this chart setup, which one are you, what are you using? The 1 minute to be the trigger?
No, that's my trigger. Yes, the 1 minute is my trigger, and I watch the pressure, and I watch to make sure that the price is either, I wait for the candle to be still touching the pressure, but posted either below or above for a buy and below for a sell. But my main setup comes from my 5 minute chart right here. So right now, to be dead honest with you, I'm already kind of somewhat, see, this is starting to range on us right here. So I got the max out of it. If I would have gone to this actually got me a 1-to-1, so I'm happy with that. So I'll just cut this right here. Okay, we won that one at a 1-to-1. Now I'm looking for another trade, but knowing what's going on over here with my thin orange now is pointed down, it's joined the party along with the thick orange. It's probably getting exhausted up here, and it's going to want to come back to pressure. The pressure is still very strong, so it may keep pushing it up for a little bit, but it's going to be very slow. Right here, I would not take a trade. I would wait this out, and not only that, my 10 minute now has turned over. We got 30 seconds left to go. Let's see what the candles do. This may turn them around and pop back up. I don't know. It may continue to take off here. But so far, I have a level right here that I don't want to touch anything until it passes that level. And then post on the other side if I'm going to take a trade. Now this, I'm wondering if it's going to come down though. A lot of times it turns over, because remember I said earlier, price always goes back to pressure. So I'm anticipating this 5 minute to start coming down to pressure. Oh, see there? Now we're posting below pressure. So I take a trade right there. Let's see what happens. I'm a little late to the party, but I'm going to jump in anyway. How's that? So we'll go to 31 and let's see what we would have gotten or what we would get. Let's go 31 right there. There we go. We're at 31 and a 63 stop loss. Let's see if we can get at least a 2-to-1 out of this. A lot of times when it's trying to get back to pressure like this, the 5 minute and so forth, usually it takes its own sweet time. Sometimes it ranges on you. Oh, there we go. Already got it. I was a little late getting the party. If I'd have gotten in when I wanted to, I'd probably gotten in a little early, but that's fine. Another thing you could do was wait for the post. In my trade plan, to be dead honest with you, I know a lot of people wait for the post to see what's going to happen. But when I see my trade plan set up, I like to take it right away because I know if it's going to continue or not. And I had a feeling that was going to continue because this really wanted to get back to pressure right here. It's been sitting up here. Look at this. It's been sitting since way back here. That thin orange has turned over 3 candles ago. And that's 15, 20 minutes ago now. 15, 17 minutes ago. It's already been trying to come down. And you notice it just gave you a small green candle right here. That's usually a good indication that the next one's going to start dropping back to pressure. 10 minutes coming back to pressure as well. So this will probably go through the pressure here. This is a little bit bigger. It's a 12.5 pip ATR. That's a 6.8 ATR. Boy, look at this. If I let that run, I'm almost at a 1-to-2. I'm going to win 12.5 pips right here almost. Boy, I wish I'd have taken that live right about now. Sorry, guys. I wonder. I'm curious. Is anybody chatting in? And I don't. My chat is very small. Is anybody taking any of these trades with me by any chance? A demo, or at least putting your trade ratio tool on when I'm saying so, or anything? Is anybody winning these with me, or I'm just curious?
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, by all means, ask questions. Chat them in. I need to find the chat on this. This
The,
really shrunk down on me when I went to share my screen. I've got a little bitty small box that.
if you type in your questions, I can see them and tell them to.
Oh, I just pulled the chat up. I just pulled the chat up, and I don't see anybody putting any questions or anything like that or comments.
Somebody had asked a question from when you started. How long did it take you to get profitable?
Everybody's different, but for me personally, I literally did not start getting profitable till about, so I started October of 2019. I actually got my live account, couldn't figure out which strategy to use. Started grabbing strategies because I was just kind of all over the place, to be dead honest with you. I started grabbing like 3 or 4 or 5 different strategies, but the sad part is I would start intermingling them. You don't ever want to do that without back testing and making sure it works. But I was intermingling them, and then I'd take a trade, say, well, my thin orange from this strategy said to do this, my thick orange from this strategy said to do this, while my pressure said to do this from this other strategy. So then I would take a trade and I would lose it, and I'd be like, what the heck is going on? Well, I flopped and flailed for a little bit. I got my live account, I drew it down. I didn't lose it, but I drew it down, and I ended up talking to Tyler, who's awesome. Tyler's the executive coach. He's awesome. And I talked to him, and that's actually who I work for now. He brought me on because I had learned a lot from him and learned a lot about my own trading, and he appreciated that and thought I could help other people out too as well. So I talked to Tyler, as I called it. I got sent to the principal's office, and I'm just kidding when I say that. He's a very, very, very nice man and wants to help everybody. They were there to help me and set me right, help me follow my rules. I actually have a note still from that day in July of 2020 when I talked to him. I have a post-it note on my monitor that says "Follow the rules," because that was the biggest thing I was doing, was breaking my rules. And I still got the note from that day that I wrote it down, stuck to my monitor. It says "Follow the rules."
But by the way, for those of you who don't know, Tyler is Tyler Perry is Kevin Jones' brother, and their father is the one who developed the indicator. So Tyler's been trading for over 20 years. Yeah, 24 years. Yeah. So he knows. Yeah. He knows these better than 95% of the people out there. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. And Tyler himself is just an awesome guy. He sometimes can appear to be a little rough and scary, but he's not. He's not. He's there to help. He's there to help people out and make sure everybody gets their trades correctly and follows rules and has a good experience with this. And so anyway, profitable wise, as far as I go, is probably about by the time I had figured out, I drew down and I was kind of losing demo accounts. I went through like 12 demo accounts. I would just hack them to death, and then I would start a new one, and I would hack it to death, start a new one. These 3 that I run right now, I have a large one with $21,000 in it, so I can trade larger and get used to bigger money and bigger lot sizes and test myself there. I have a medium one, which is about $15,000. And then I have a very small one that's only got $700. That one started at $5,000 like a year and a half ago, and I've never gotten rid of it. Started a year and a half ago, and I drew it down from $5,000 all the way down to $450. And then bit by bit by bit, I've been bringing that one back. I trade very small in that account. So like this morning, I traded in that one. I won a whopping $16.50. That's all. But I don't care about that. I don't care about the money part. I care about, especially the demo account, because it's fake money anyway, so I don't care. My goal was to take my trades and win them and follow my rules. That's my goal. And when you do that, it doesn't matter what your lot size is. You could have a 50 lot size, 100 lot size. It won't matter at that point. If you're trading correctly and right, taking your trades, following your rules, it won't matter what your lot size is. You'll make money. You will do this. But profitable-wise, getting back to that, sorry to take so long answering your question, probably about August, September of last year, is I hit bottom, and then I ran sideways for a while I figured my trade plan out. and I started to go up a little bit. I still was a little emotional before I started coaching and getting into that, and had my executive coaching last year and sat with Chris Fryer and Brady West. Those are the executive coaches in there. Jared Johnson is another one, but I work with Chris and Brady. They helped me tremendously with a lot of things I was already looking at, but kind of put things more in perspective. They helped me with my money management, which was huge. Money management is a big thing. Not over trading, not over lot sizing yourself to death or under. Don't take the small trades either. If you got a pretty decent win rate and so forth, give yourself a little bit more leeway to trade. With that, probably since last September, October, I've been on a steady uphill climb with my trades now, and it's been consistent. I'm not swinging for the fences every time anymore. I learned quickly that little bit at a time, a little bit day by day by day, and by the time you get to the end of a week, you look back and say, that took a little bit of time, but you know what? I am where I am now, and I appreciate that. And so then come Monday morning, I start over again, and I take little bit by little bit by little bit by little bit, and at the end of that week, I'm like, look at that, I'm up even more. But if you're doing it on a daily basis and really trying to swing for the fences every trade, now you're chasing the market instead of letting the market come to you. And you could, and I've known people to go for too many pips also. So don't get greedy. Don't get greedy with your pips. Take what the market is allowing to give you. Because I have literally seen people go all the way up and just miss their take profit and sit on it. And instead of clicking out and taking their profits and running, they let it go all the way against them and hit their stop loss. And now they're gone. And they've lost that trade. And then they kick themselves in the rear all day long because they did that.
Scott, can you just briefly recap the rules for the trades you took today?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So I mainly look for price getting back to pressure. That's the first thing I do. I want to get familiar with what the market is doing at the moment, because we know these very well now. All prices get back to pressure. So what I'm doing is my first thing I'm looking for in my trade is I look at my 5-minute chart, because that's where my trade setup's going to be. I look for the thin orange to be pointing down like it is. I look for my thick orange to see if it's exhausted, which is down at the bottom right now and exhausted. But that doesn't mean the end of the world. A lot of times it can keep going down. I look for my minors and majors to be tight and going through the channel like it is still right now. It's still getting through the channel. It's probably going to bottom out here in a second, because we're going to have a new candle here in a second. About 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's probably going to pop up on us here. Ran flat for a second. Now it's going back. See, my guess is it came down and it touched the pressure, and now it's probably wanting to turn and head back up. Either that, or a lot of times, now this is running sideways right here. Sometimes this will run sideways and range, as they say, or consolidate. It will range because it's waiting for another size chart up, maybe bigger, to finally take off, and maybe it's turning and coming down to its pressure. So I'm always looking at all the charts to see who's going back to pressure and when that could possibly happen. Usually on a 5-minute chart, it can take 5 to 10 minutes to come back to pressure. On a 10-minute, it can take 10 to 20 minutes to come back to pressure. Usually a couple of candles worth. This one came back pretty quick, but that's an anomaly, and that was pretty nice to win this trade. By the way, we got our 1 to 2 right there. And it never really drew down on us, did it? Nope, never went against us once. That's good.
So
and then sorry, let me say really quick. Sorry. Then I look at my 1-minute chart to make sure that everything agrees with my 5-minute, and I look to my 1 minute for my first candle through the pressure or down through the pressure to see if I'm going to sell or buy it. Like this one did right here. That was down through the pressure, so I sold it, and to make sure my pressure is going the same way. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you, Paul.
Well, that was terrific and insightful. One of the reasons I've invited Scott on, and I will have other coaches come on, is that we've got a dozen different signals. And one of the great things about the program is we will create help you create a trade plan that matches your kind of personality and kind of risk preferences and profile for a trade that suits you. The
Absolutely. Yes.
And you can see Scott's a scalper. I consider myself a singles hitter. This is would be too much work for me, so it wouldn't fit my personality. But it works for Scott, and everybody's got their own kind of strategy. And Scott does know the other trades because he will go through and teach you those while trying to figure out what's the right trade plan for you. Last question, Scott, is why should someone choose you to be their coach?
I actually very, very much care about other people and their trading. And I know that me personally, when I first got into this, I was grateful to get into this. And I was going to say earlier when you were talking about Kevin Jones Sr., the guy that invented these charts 30 years ago. I've always told people, and I told Tyler this, and I told Kevin this, that when I get to heaven someday, he is going to be one of the top 10 people that I walk over and give a big hug to and say, thank you so much for these charts. They made me money. They made me learn and think, and they were dead on perfect. I loved them, and they taught me this. So I want to share this with others. This is my goal now, is to, I can trade in the morning and be done with my trading and get that under my belt. And now I want to share it with others. I wanted to coach, honestly, since about a month or two into my trading already. Even though I wasn't the greatest trader in the world and I was still learning, I thought to myself, if I can get this down, I would absolutely love to teach others how to do this because I love it with a passion. I really do.
Yeah,
and I want to share that.
Same for me. When you get good at something, you really have a responsibility. You have a responsibility, not just you want. You have a responsibility to share it to someone else. Yep. Okay, Scott, we appreciate you sharing with us. Sure. I guess I'm not going to give out your contact information. The way, if you do want to contact Scott, you need to sign up for the program and go from there. Or if you're already in the program and you want additional coaching, I'm happy to connect you with Scott. But Scott's got kind of a busy schedule, and he was kind enough to share a few minutes with us. But if you do want to go forward and you want to talk to Scott, just get a hold of me and I'll put you in touch with him. All right, gang.
I'm available. Don't worry about that. I'm available. I will make myself available. Let's say that.
All right, great. All right, gang. Thanks for joining us. We will be here again tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern time, and I'll be doing the trading. All right, great.
Thank you again. Thank you, everybody. Good luck to you all. I mean that.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.